Hello and welcome back to Heroes on Fire. We're going to have Twisted Fusion vs Mouse Control Game 3 in this Best of 5 series. That last game was very good. My co-caster, Critical, or Harrison rather. Harrison has just gone to go get a cup of tea, so he'll be joining me soon. Right into the draft here. Twisted Fusion taking a long time picking that ban. Not too sure to make this. This map is now Dragonshire, picked by Twisted Fusion, who lost that last game on Sky Temple to Mouse Control. Barely. It was a very, very, very close victory by Mouse Control. And they ban out that Tassadar. They keep respect banning heroes that Mouse Control previously playing. They banned out the Tyrande after the first game. They banned out the Tassadar after that second game. We're going to have a hammer ban by Mouse Control. Makes complete sense on Dragonshire. Don't ever want to see that hammer. Very, very annoying to deal with. Sit her on bottom lane in the brush, just waiting by the temple that you can, sorry, by the shrine that you can capture, and is in range of your towers. Very, very annoying to deal with. I think Twisted Fusion favouring that ETC and the Uther. In fact, I'd like to see them pick up the Rhaegar this time. Take it away from Mouse Control, because that Rhaegar did a lot of work, especially once they hit 20, during or in the middle of that big team fight at the end of Sky Temple. So yeah, I'd like to see them pick up the Rhaegar almost as a deny pick. Maybe because it's Dragonshire, go for a two healer lineup. But they go for that first pick Vala. Not much to be, you know, surprised about there. I mean, Vala's the most common picked hero in the game at the moment, as well as probably the most common picked ranged assassin in the game. I suppose the only contenders for that position are Tychus, who we've not seen yet, and Nazeebo. Even though he's a specialist, he fills out that damage dealing assassin role. Mouse Control probably going to pick up that Rhaegar again, or maybe pick up the Uther after. I think I'd like to see them pick up something else other than their support early on. Pick up the Illidan, who wasn't actually touched in the ban phase this time. Got through it completely, forgot about him. He is seeing a lot of priority as it goes. And we do see the Malfurion pick. Now, Malfurion is very good for setting up that double healer composition that we might see coming out of Mouse Control. Apologies, I did just have to sneeze. Now, no matter what support Twisted Fusion picks up, if they decide to pick a support at this point, Mouse Control can very easily pick up that Uther or the Rhaegar, the counter one, to keep that Illidan alive. Double support combinations very good for just stopping you being able to deal with that Illidan. They do pick up the Uther, very strong against Illidan in fact though, because of his stuns. He can Divine Storm as soon as Illidan jumps in and then stun him quickly after. And the ETC, more disruption, more stuns. They very much like the ETC and the Uther pickups. Do Twisted Fusion with Zafman, I believe. Sorry, I'm getting all of my teams completely mixed up. Yes, Zafman playing that Uther. I don't know why, I apologise for that. My brain went muddled. Critical, come back, I need you! I can't think straight. I'd like to see the Malfurion pick up actually, because it's pretty cool. You don't see Malfurion over Uther or Rhaegar that often, but it does mean that they want to pick it up as kind of a we're going to take this mana giving support. It means that we can have him as a solo support with Tranquility, or we can just absolutely wreck you and go for a double support composition, which to keep that Illidan, that huge sustained damage alive.
Alright, I have returned, but I cannot see the draft, so talk me through it quickly.
We had a Tassadar ban from Twisted Fusion.
Ooh.
Then Mouse Control banned out the hammer. We're on Dragonshire, by the way. First pick on the Vala makes complete sense. Then we had a Malfurion Illidan double pickup for Mouse Control, who then, as I was just saying, pick up that second support in the Rhaegar. Keep that Illidan alive. Go all out for him. Mana from Malfurion, give to the Rhaegar. We'll probably see Ancestral Healing out of the Rhaegar. And then I'd like to see Twilight Dream for Malfurion. Extra control, that silence, that huge bit of damage, super useful, plus all the heals, plus the shield or the healing wards you can see come out of Malfurion. You know, we can see a lot of ways to keep that Illidan alive. Twisted Fusion, however, have picked up the Uther and ETC. Uther's very good for stunning out Illidan, and ETC's good for team disruption, as well as Mosh Pit when Illidan decides to jump in.
Indeed, and since Illidan is so robust against just auto-attack damage, being able to use Twilight Dream to just stop anyone from throwing down any of those CCs or stuns. Oh, I can see the draft now, hurrah! It really does just increase the amount that your Illidan can do. If suddenly there's a period of time when you can't really do anything to him at all.
I'd like to see Mouse Control pick up a Stitches here right now. For the pickoffs, for the frontline tank, something that Illidan can potentially sit behind a little bit, and they actually go for the health regen Chen is what we'll probably see.
Interesting. So we're going to have Chen and Illidan diving really hard into the middle of the fight, right at the back of Twisted Fusion's lines, and both can be kept alive by the double healer. Not that Chen really needs a lot of help being kept alive. His health regen could get absurd.
Yeah.
All on his own.
Now, I would like to see Twisted Fusion pick up that Tyrael again. I would like to see a Tyrael pick up, because it would basically mean Mouse Control can't pick up the Nazebo. And the reason why I think Mouse Control are thinking of the Nazebo is, one, he's a super strong range assassin, almost a range assassin, super strong range damage dealer, and two, if they commit to dealing with the Nazebo, they can't commit to dealing with the Illidan. And if they commit to dealing with the Illidan, then Ravenous Spirit is just going to wreck shop. So I would have liked to see the Tyrael, but they are going to pick up the Stitches. Interesting.
And as a third piece in the puzzle of where do we put our stuns, of course, Chen is another hero that really does call for a stun, because if he just sits there drinking, you're not going to kill him.
Yeah.
He'll sit there and drink through all the damage. You need to throw down stuns on Chen to stop him drinking, to make him vulnerable to this damage that you're trying to put down on him. But suddenly, when you've got to choose between these three targets, it can be tough.
I think we're going to see Twisted Fusion actually pick up the Nazebo here because of the lack of stuns on Mouse Control. And we'll eventually, I'm going to predict, see Mouse Control pick up a Tychus. We haven't seen Tychus picked up yet, but I think he's particularly good. Although, if we do see the Nazebo pick up by Twisted Fusion, then we might see the Tyrande come out of Mouse Control, who did seem quite comfortable, Tyrande.
That's what I think. Yeah, I think Tyrande seems like a very likely pickup here.
Yeah. The Priestess of the Moon, Illidan's lover.
It's yet another heal that can be thrown
down. We are going to
Illidan.
have a full Warcraft team, and not only that, we're going to have Illidan and his brother Malfurion and their lover Tyrande, or rather Malfurion's lover Tyrande.
The full threes company.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favourite quotes when you go into a game as Illidan, or in any Heroes of the Storm games, when you go in as Illidan with a Tyrande, and Tyrande says, "My biggest mistake was letting you free," or setting you free, and Illidan goes, "My biggest mistake was loving you." I mean, oh, you're killing me, bro. I hope I get to hear that this game. I probably won't. Oh, and we see a Zagara.
Interesting.
More can be very strong here.
It certainly can, and it gives them even more control over the fight. Interesting to see. All right.
Also particularly good on Dragonshire for either counter-shoving that Nazebo, or even just chilling bottom lane and providing a huge amount of pressure with the Roaches and the Hunter-Killers and that extra range damage.
In the laning phase, essentially providing the same thing they wanted to get from the Hammer, which unfortunately they had to ban and couldn't take themselves that time.
Yeah. Okay, Mouse Control do need a minute. So we shall talk amongst ourselves.
Right, I'm sure we can find stuff to talk about. So, do you think this is a mosh pit or a stage dive game?
Dragonshire stage dive. I think that Twisted Fusion will still take mosh pit.
It seems like they like mosh pit.
Because they very much like mosh pit. They have a very, very capable ETC player in form of Jamaru.
And actually, the Twilight Dream that may or may not get picked, and the more that I'm sure will get picked, are actually the only ways they have to interrupt a mosh pit.
Yeah.
And that's not a lot of options, and they're both level 10 abilities. So,
yeah. Okay. Now you've got to tell me, what skins do we see for mouse control rather? Because we have Razalat's Chen with the Warmaster Chen, you know, that
Yep.
metal one. Yeah, we see him. Everything else is just colour variations. What do we have on your side?
On my side, I am seeing the same people as you.
Oh, are you? Oh, can we not see different teams?
No, well, I'm certainly not seeing a different team. I don't know if there is a way for me to do this. I am unaware.
Ah.
Unfortunately.
I assumed both observers would see other people, although we cannot see Zafman's Malfurion.
Unfortunate. Hopefully something we'll be able to see in the future, if that's something they patch into the game. But for now, this is what we'll have to work with.
Sorry, not Zafman's Malfurion. Who is
Uther.
playing? Yeah, we can see Zafman's playing Uther. Who is the last player of Twisted Fusion who we cannot see right in front of us because they're in the middle?
God, that's such an annoying little weird bug that we've got.
Yeah.
that the game has at the moment.
Azul's is going to be playing their Malfurion.
Oh, Azul's is on the other team.
I'm terrible at this.
It's Bota.
Bota! Yes, it is! Oh my god, I'm a terrible person. I need to learn team names.
So Azul is the diverse player who's going to be picking up their second support this time.
Bota, you mean?
It's on that. Yeah. Who did I say?
You said Azul's like I did.
God. You're getting me all confused. So assume. Do you think we've only seen so far today? We've only seen Putrid Bile so far on the stitches. Do you think that's going to change this time, or are we going to see that again? Because it could do a lot of work against the Illidan, because he tends to stick in the middle of the fight for quite a long time, so he's going to have to tank a lot of damage from that Putrid Bile.
Not sure. I think both teams kind of prefer Putrid Bile. It does more kind of almost guaranteed damage, just disrupting fights, keeping the stitches alive in a couple of situations. I think we'll still see the Putrid Bile. Especially, like you say, against the Illidan, it's good for slowing him down, controlling him, doing just damage that he can't dodge with evasion.
And I think it's going to be quite tough for them to get a good pick-off with Gorge, unfortunately, against Mael's control, because, of course, we've got Rhaegar who can just run in and Ancestral whoever gets caught by the Gorge. Zagara can run in and just maul the enemy team when a Gorge goes down, and it's going to be difficult for them to actually try and pick
Plus, Illidan and Chen, their two frontliners, can just leave.
Yeah.
They can just leave at any point.
So can Rhaegar most of the time.
Yeah.
He has a habit of just leaving. Just going, no thanks, I don't want to do this, bye.
Yeah. Slowing Totem, I'll turn into a wolf, I'm out of here.
Yep.
Okay, so loading into Dragonshire now. I have restarted my recording, so hopefully I won't get any frame rate drops as I had last game. I'd like to very much apologise for that.
Right, we'll cross as many fingers as we can find. It should not be a problem.
Oh, I'm sitting at 7 ms. This is lovely. I'm okay with that.
New personal best.
We're going to see multi-shot build out of Vala again. Oh yeah, introducing teams. We have Twisted Fusion on the left here. We have Varakai playing the Stitches. Zafman is on that Uther. Azul's playing the Vala. Weezer again on that. Nazebo and Jamaru for the third game in a row on the ETC.
Hey, and then we have Praesin again on the Rhaegar. Illidan is being played by Solid SMD, Zagara by Zinwin, Chen by Razalat, and finally, as we said before, it is Bota on the Malfurion.
Now we see a 5v5 potential engagement happening here in mid. Wow. Jamaru jumps through, Razalat getting caught out, almost dying, gets hooked by the Stitches, and boom, dead.
12 seconds in, full 5-on-5 fight, and first blood.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good route by Bota.
Absolutely.
But it didn't help keep the Chen alive. Especially after another great hook. We're seeing a lot of good Stitches players and plays just constantly. Now we're going to have Zagara. Zinwin on that Zagara bottom lane. Looks to be solo there. We're going to have the Zebo solo top on Weezer. Both pushers kind of, so far Bota's coming to help Zinwin, give him lots of mana. Keep that push going, but we do have a 3-man counter push from Twisted Fusion.
Alright, and Rhaegar's going to head down as well here as well. I was a bit surprised to see that they didn't have 3 people in bottom lane, because they really want to try and capitalise on the Zagara push as much as possible. But we see they now have the full 3 down there, so hopefully they should be able to push this in. I'd say that I would be surprised if they don't manage to push this lane out and maybe try and get some structure damage, but it looks like Fusion are doing a good job.
But not too much happening. Healing Ward is dropped, Hunter Killer comes out, Jamara taking some good damage. Not much more. We're going to have Twisted Fusion take that bottom shrine while Mouse Control take the top shrine. Now this is a matchup we have seen before in the first game. Weezer top lane versus Razalat on the Chen. Zebo versus Chen top lane. We've seen that on the Cursed Hollow matchup, I believe, actually. So, yeah, second game pickup for Chen. What do you think of that?
Chen is someone that after his change to his Storm, Earth and Fire, he started to fall out of favour for a little while because against strong players, they'll stun you out of it every single time. It's very, very hard to get it off in a time that's useful. But then it seems recently people have started to figure out Barrel is quite good.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Barrel. Barrel's super annoying to play against and just super funny to play, full stop.
Absolutely.
A lot of AoE damage coming out, clearing out the Zagara's creep tumors here. Doing some decent work. Stop all that scouting. Varakai does get scouted out. There's a small rotation from mid by 2 separate creep tumors.
And Twisted Fusion are doing well here in this bottom lane, because when you pick a pusher like Zagara to put in your tri-lane down bottom, it's because you want to win the lane. You want to make sure that lane pushes out really far, maybe get some tower damage, get that bottom shrine easily. But it's just not working out for them.
Likewise,
Fusion are doing a really good job of just keeping that lane pushed out as far as they can.
I mean, likewise, we do have Razalat doing a good job up against Weezer and Nazebo, stopping that push as well. Although Zombie Wall's going to get some damage in almost every time.
Almost inevitable that some damage will come out, but he certainly managed to mitigate it.
Siege Giant camp coming out for Mouse Control here. Praeden and the Illidan picking that up.
This should hopefully help them to be able to push that lane back out, stop any more damage getting on their towers, because they're really managing to get quite a lot on there, and they're almost completely out of ammo.
Yeah. I like seeing that Zimwing keeps putting that Hunter-Killer onto Azul's almost every time it's off cooldown. I mean, by far the squishiest down there at the bottom in the bottom 3, and most likely to die if they do manage to get a pick off, although, saying that, Hunter-Killer is on Jamaru. So, you know, just ignore everything I'm saying. We see Farsight again by the Rhaegar, Clairvoyance again by the Uther.
Both teams obviously big fans of these abilities. We saw the Clairvoyance to good effect last game. They clearly like that ability and think they can do a lot with it.
Same builds as we've seen for the most part, although we've got Praeden not quite getting caught out, doing okay. Bottom shrine is taken by Mouse Control, in fact.
Unfortunately, no one is able to cap it in the middle at the moment because Stitches just will not let Solid SMD get anywhere near it with his Illidan. He's just being bullied out.
Yeah. Jamaru taking a lot of damage here, actually. Gonna get healed up. They are going to recapture that bottom shrine. A little bit nervous when you see your opponents have both shrines, but keep cool, keep calm, and retake it when you can.
Particularly pre-10, it's very, very difficult to actually get the Dragon Knight. It's very rare that we see it before that sort of moment, and then suddenly a huge fight goes down and it tends to swing one way or the other. But for the time being, someone caps top, then someone caps bottom, although right now both are in the hands of Mouse Control, and no one is in mid at this point in time to be able to stop and cap again.
Solid SMD is body blocking out Varakai. He's being targeted by Hunter Killer. Zafman comes in, drops down the heel, but Solid SMD keeps jumping over Varakai, body blocking him out, and Stitches falls. Good pick up there by Mouse Control.
Although unfortunately, since they all abandoned the bottom shrine, it was able to just be recapped for Twisted Fusion, and we're back to one temple apiece. The standard situation that will probably continue for minutes more.
I'm just going to quickly set all my graphics to the lowest they can possibly be. May have a small disconnect here, but I'm suffering from occasional frame rate drops, and I'd rather that didn't happen. So yeah, level 10 coming out here for Mouse Control and Twisted Fusion. What are we going to see? We're going to see the usual. Mosh Pit game, Barrel game, Twilight Dream taken on that mouth.
Twilight Dream. Yeah. Alright.
Big engagement here, a good Mosh Pit out, catches 3. Then we see the Divine Storm catching out the other 2, and the Zulls will drop there on that Vala's return kill. Well, Solid SMD Metamorphosis in, Praeden, getting blocked out, it's going to have run the other way. Might not get out of this, Solid SMD actually getting picked up.
They took so much damage from that putrid bile.
Yeah.
You see that towards the end, the the Illidan and the Rhaegar were just stood in it. They were still fighting and trying to get through, but they were just body blocked in this Putrid Bile, taking enormous amounts of damage from it.
Good 4v4 fight there. It was a 3-for-1 for the side of Team Twisted Fusion. Able to, you know, assert their dominance over that bottom shrine, but
still, unfortunately, Weezer on his Nazebo is just not able to take the top one from Chen.
now
Razaleth is just holding that one.
we didn't get to see more or Twilight Dream used as a result of that mosh pit catching out both the Zagara and the Rhaegar, sorry, and the Malfurion, and they were killed before they were able to get any of their abilities off. So, unfortunate there by Mouse Control.
Maybe Mouse Control know that they have more heroics currently up than the other team and will try and force something here, but then almost everything's back up now.
Yeah.
Not just the Fusion, it's only the mosh pit that's down, so not as big as they might hope.
Both Siege Giant camps taken for both teams on the bottom. Not much going to come of either of these. I mean, the wall is taken on the side of Mouse Control. But those Giants can be cleaned up after they kill the healing well. That's about it.
Now I wonder how we've got the people down at the bottom at the moment. We now have the Illidan down there instead of the Scar, and the Scar is now mid. I wonder if they'd have been better off doing it that way from the beginning, because having double healer Zagara in one lane together doesn't make that much sense, because Zagara doesn't need that much healing, and she can't really make the most of it like an Illidan can. He'd have been able to get way more aggressive. They might have been able to do more in the lane in the early game, but
now, interestingly, despite Weezer being basically solo against the Chen the entire game, he has done the most hero damage in the game, and the Chen has barely done any.
Chen has just stood and been a happy recipient of this damage. Happy to take it.
See the Bruisers taken bottom for Twisted Fusion. They're going to push in this fort a little bit. Might look to get some good damage on it. Jamara's going to come in. Start right-clicking it. Not going to get hit by the root there. He's just going to back off.
We've got some hero rotations up to the top. The Zebo, an attempt to kill him with the Zebo, but he sprints and he manages to get out of there. Unfortunately, they still just cannot take this temple.
Illidan wrapping around solid S&D in the bushes, just maybe looking to start something with Metamorphosis. But no, he's going to back off and go to middle, maybe try and pick off the Valakai Stitches. Through Putrid Biles to try and get out of this. He's going to run, dodges the root.
Oh, with the Chen coming down as well, I'll be amazed if he manages to get out of this now.
And he does get picked up. Unfortunate. But it is kicked. See, a lot of far sight coming out from the Rhaegar. It's just constantly scouting. Almost every time I look to bottom lane, Farsight is there, scouting out what needs to be seen. Shrines are both up.
Well, now if they manage to hold this one at bottom, then Malfurion is going to be able to pick up the Dragon Knight in the middle.
Fantastic Maw, and Malfurion does pick up that Dragon Knight in the middle. Maw catches out 3 bottom.
Manages to just stop them being able to walk in and take that shrine at all, so they managed to pick it up. And this first Dragon Knight now is nearly 10 minutes, so it hits so hard. And they beat down those towers without blinking an eye.
Zools being a bit low, maybe a bit risky there. Hits for 560, that Dragon Knight does. He gets hooked in and stunned by the Uther. Taking a lot of damage, still 35 seconds left, only at 30% health. Jamaro in a bad position, but he does just pull his way out. He's going to get pushed back by the barrel of the Chen though, and kicked by the Dragon Knight, potentially to safety there. Maybe not a good call to punt the ETC away. Yeah, oh, good Ravenous Spirit comes out, picks up the Rhaegar in the end. Bota gonna get kicked out that Dragon Knight. Zinwin stunned by the Uther and killed as well by that Ravenous Spirit. Fantastic positioning by the Nazebo.
That just ended that push and really forced them all just to back straight away. And I hadn't noticed this before, but Praedin has picked up on his Rhaegar this time. He's picked up Healing Surge at 13 instead of Feral Lunge, which he's taken in previous games.
Maybe not feeling the effectiveness of Feral Lunge in the last game, or
maybe I wonder what it is in this game.
Maybe simply because they don't have Tranquility on the Malfurion.
Speaking of Malfurion,
yeah, he just gets hooked and blown up. Not much.
He's gone immediately.
SMD's going to clean up these golems. Meanwhile, Razalot drinking for victory. He actually has 6 stacks of Regen Master.
That's starting to build up to a whole lot of regen. At this point, it's starting to get hard to put much damage on him, really, without the help of multiple heroes.
His health regen is just so high. Look at it, just zoom up. Now, we do have level 16 for both teams, so what talents do we see? Again, imposing presence on that Uther, blood for blood on Vala, slam build on Stitches. Nothing surprising here at all. Specialized toxin on Zebo. We're going to get flying kick slows again, that great 90% root almost on the Chen, double hunter killer, as well as the we're going to actually see the Mutalisk picked up for Zinwin on the Zagara instead of the extra hunter killer range.
Something that's gotten more popular since the patch recently when they changed it so that Mutalisks now, unlike Hydralisks, they don't disappear when their target is killed, disappeared or whatever happens to it. Now the Mutalisk will just stick around and just push lanes, so you get a lot more value out of it.
A double blood for blood. Rhaegar does in fact pick up his blood for blood after a short time.
It's certainly something that gains a lot of value against 2 tanks when you have a lot of targets to get that blood for blood on. Give yourself a nice health boost.
We do see a 1 level advantage, well it's just over 1 level advantage here for Twisted Fusion as the second set of shrines spawn for that potential second Dragonite. Azul's doing a lot of damage to a solid SMD who has been caught out, hit by the Rain of Vengeance and just dies.
That's a fantastic Rain of Vengeance catching him there. He thought he had that kill in the bag, but it just wasn't to be.
More misses everything. Razzle out the Chen, chasing down Weasel on the Zebo. We see the Divine Storm coming in, hitting Kraden. He has to, in fact, Ancestral he himself, Mosh Pit, only catching the Chen, but his regen is too high. That Ravenous Spirit coming down to try and do some damage does absolutely nothing to him.
That Ravenous almost looked like a funny joke to that Chen. He just... This health bar was just being tickled, but that little bit. It was incredible how much damage he can sustain through.
Yeah. I mean, he has what looks to be 1,000 bajillion, that's not even a real word, health per second when I click on him.
But that amount, yes.
And in fact, Twisted Fusion do pick up the Dragonite this time. I mean, it's the 13.5 minute Dragonite. It hits even harder than the 10 minute one, obviously, but not the most game-changing one. 720 per damage. It is a good chunk.
It's certainly enough to guarantee that this should be a fault for Twisted Fusion. Easy, no problem. Now, will they continue to push forward, or will they rotate up to top and try and take the floor there? And they're just going to keep wandering in, it seems.
Yeah. Going to have the Dragonite rooted up here. He's going to have to turn and just keep right clicking. He's down to 36% with 35 seconds remaining. Going to rotate, potentially going to try and take that top 4. Very, very low. Most likely
low enough
going to
they should be able to get it, no problem
yeah.
at all. And we see a 3 fort advantage now for Twisted Fusion. Not a single fort yet has fallen for mouse control, but that could all change. Dragonites kill forts quick enough, as we've just seen.
Yeah.
The next one, if it falls in the favour of mouse control, could certainly even that advantage very, very quickly.
Twisted Fusion trying to disengage here. Chen has other ideas, jumping onto Jinmara, rooting him there, starts drinking. Not much happens. SMD in the background. Gets knocked back by the Dragonite. Death Explosion is quite low. Gets Ancestral Healing. Does Metamorphosis on to go himself up in the back. Another Furion dies. Barakai getting pushed back by the Chenbao a little bit. Not necessarily a bad spot. And again, the Rhaegar gets picked off. Razlak gonna get mosh pitted and cleaned up. Fantastic hook by Barakai and Zinwin, and he'll die. 4 for naught. There by
Only Illidan escapes.
Slightly unusual, as we'll see Illidan dying quite quickly as he wants to be on the front line jumping in, but
he can be very slippery when he puts his line to it, that's for sure. And they're going to go ahead and just pick up the aggressive Bruiser camp now to try and pressure in top lane.
We do have level 20, a 3 level advantage, or 2 and a bit level advantage for Twisted Fusion. Not much surprise here. Putrid Bile taken, as we know, but Bolt of the Storm on top of that, not too surprising there.
Fairly reasonable. Bolt is just one of those generally very strong abilities of basically anyone. The one that surprises me is the Nexus Frenzy on the Vala.
Really? I've seen Nexus Frenzy quite often. I mean, Bolt of the Storm really good, but Vala at the moment, especially being so far ahead, I suppose Twisted Fusion have no fear of her dying.
Indeed, and that's probably what it is. So they just think they're in a comfortable enough position that they think they can take this to just try and secure their lead.
I mean, yes, she is one of the 3 deaths on the side of Twisted Fusion, but
That says something on its own. One of the 3 at this point in the game, yeah.
just looking at the hero damage done, actually, Stitch is high up there, but the Nazebo has done a huge amount. Fantastic positioning almost all game by Weezer. This is the 3rd game in a row we see him on that Nazebo.
And that's one of the things that happens when you just don't have enough ways to interrupt a Ravenous Spirit. It's one of those abilities that can really be a game changer all on its own.
I mean, without taking the hunt, they only have more, really, to interrupt Ravenous Spirit. Oh, Barrel pushing Jamaru back, but he's not able to get him at a good angle for that last hit. Solid SMD is actually in a really bad spot, though. He's going to have to ulti to get out of this. Doesn't get the bonus health from that. Barakai bolts forward, but big Divine Storm by Uther, and Weezer just in the back. Ravenous Spirit, Mosh Pit on 3. Cleans up very easily. Hook misses, Rain of Vengeance misses, doesn't really matter, still a 3 for naught.
Both so close. They should count themselves lucky for not getting caught in either of those, but that team fight was fantastically well executed for Twisted Fusion. That Mosh Pit catching 3, the incredible amount of damage coming out from the Ravenous Spirit, cleaned up very quickly.
I'd actually like to see the healing done. We have a huge amount done by that Rhaegar and a decent amount done by the Malfurion. But it just doesn't seem to be enough, especially when Weezer pops that Ravenous Spirit. There's nothing Team Mouse Control can do. Trader and Zafman having a bit of a skirmish up in top lane. Barakai coming and
He's come in to end this little kerfuffle.
Duking left
just
and right.
The run around. Oh, the bolt forwards!
We may actually see Braden fall here, yeah. He's going to heal himself. Ancestral. No, and he dies to the Divine Storm, used as like solo kill on the Rhaegar. But it is an 18.5-minute Dragon Knight. That thing has almost 20,000 health.
Alright, will they go for the keep, or will they just wrap around and try and go straight for the core?
Hits for 920 on buildings. Oh, we see Zinwin get caught out by the hook and just demolished almost. Takes a huge amount of damage and does actually get picked up in the end by the Varla multi-shot plus that Rain of Vengeance. Benefit clipped in the end. Solid SMD going to get stunned out and killed as well in the back.
I think they could just end.
Just drinking. Yeah. Good roots coming out by Bota. There's a good more in defense for the Zagara, but
just
not really able to do anything. And again, no level 20 for mouse control yet. There's still no bolt. Still no upgrades to any ultimates. And yeah, we're
there's no way with this Dragon Knight that they're going to be able to defend against this.
Barakai bolts in and Future Biles. Jamaru mosh pits in front of the Nexus for no reason whatsoever. Now for those of you, this is the core, this is the Nexus. We see Twisted Fusion again being dominant and managing to finish up this game. Unlike the last one, they've been dominant in all 3 games so far, but puts the score at 2-1 to Twisted Fusion. I think Mouse Control are going to have to ban out Weezer's Nazebo and potentially even pick up to deny Jamaru's ETC or the Weezer Nazebo.
I think as good as the Moors were in that game, they really lost out by not picking up somebody else who could get an easy interrupt on the Nazebo. I think if they picked up the Tyrande, maybe even Tychus for his grenade, someone who could just get the stun down and just end that damage early, because it did so much work. So did the Mosh Pit. It was those 2 abilities, basically.
Oh yeah, I mean, the Mosh Pit plus that Ravenous Spirit, I think it caught out 2 heroes and 2 heroes and 3 heroes and 3 heroes, just constant good Mosh Pits by Jamaru, who is very comfortable on that hero. And like I said, despite both of us preferring Stage Dive on that map, Jamaru just really comfortable with his Mosh Pit, really comfortable with his ETC play, and Rex, he just cleaned up.
He obviously likes it, thinks he's good, he's comfortable with it, he executed it well. Fantastic.
Especially because of the lack of stuns on mouse control, not being able to stop the Ravenous Spirit.